question is how? Well, as it turns out, they discovered the power of something called ethanol blending.
30 years ago, as the price of gas rose, Brazil bet on a greener alternative when they began to distribute ethanol.
Motorists in Brazil fill up their tanks with ethanol. It is available at nearly every fueling station in Brazil and is roughly half the price of gasoline.
To tell you about it, when sugarcane is processed to make sugar, the juice is boiled and crystallized. After each round of sugar extraction, a dark, thick syrup is left behind. This is called molasses, and the byproduct of the first round is called A molasses. And when this process is repeated again, the leftover of the second round of extraction is called B molasses. And after the third, what's left is called C molasses. And instead of letting this C molasses go to waste, Brazil discovered that C molasses could be fermented and distilled to produce something called ethanol. And you know what? This ethanol, just like petrol, can be used directly in your cars with just a small modification to your engine. In fact, it's better than petrol because it is cleaner, so it causes lesser pollution and emits 90%, I repeat, 90% less greenhouse gases as compared to petrol. And the best part was that, unlike petrol, which is finite, ethanol was infinite for Brazil because they could grow sugarcane every single year. And because of this breakthrough discovery, Brazil asked its auto companies to innovate, leading to the creation of something called flex fuel vehicles. These vehicles could run on pure ethanol, pure petrol, and even with a blended fuel with both ethanol and petrol. And this innovation transformed Brazil's economy so well that they could survive with less oil imports. And fast forward to 2023, over 83% of new passenger vehicle sales in Brazil were flex fuel vehicles. And ethanol replaced over 40% of the entire country's gasoline consumption. And today, Brazil produces 33 billion liters of ethanol annually, saving Brazil $12 billion every year in oil imports. This is how Brazil found an alternative to oil, and with other alternative energy sources, they almost became energy independent. And looking at Brazil's success, major economies like the US and EU, they all have started to implement similar strategies. The US is blending 10% of its gasoline with ethanol, and EU is already at E7, as in they blend 7% of ethanol in gasoline. And this has had some major benefits for all these countries. If you look at the monetary impact, you will find that Brazil has achieved forex savings of $260 billion while having kept 135 crore tons of CO2 equivalent emissions out of the environment. So this is incredible, right? But the question is, what does this random Brazilian story have to do with India? Well, as it turns out, even India is in a very similar situation as that of Brazil back in the 1970s. You see, just like Brazil, even India imports 85% of its fuel. Just like Brazil, India also has 8 million tons of surplus sugar.